Now we have to talk about Twitch. Buckle in, get your seatbelt on. We get to talk about this again.
Get your pillows.
So last week, we talked about this last week, right? And it was just talking about how many L's Twitch took during a full week because they came out with like an initial sponsored like guidelines for sponsorships and having like sponsored ads, videos, blah blah blah. People were upset, justifiably so. They kind of rolled it back. They rolled it back for everything except for what they said was third-party advertising engines, which we talked about. And then they added in some other stuff though in the terms of service involving simulcasting. And involving how they're handling partners and affiliates, all that. And I'm not sure about the simulcasting thing. I still think the simulcasting rules are in effect. I
feel like that's always been in there, to be honest. Like, I feel like when I signed up for an affiliate like forever ago, I remember seeing that in there.
That's true, but that was for affiliates and partners. But now, simulcasting guidelines, let me read it from the website.
That's right. It went to non-affiliates now, right?
Right. So I can't put it on the screen. I apologize for this one, but let me do it now because I've got the link here. So here's the link. Let me read the simulcasting guidelines. I think this is really important because I actually just talked to Blue about this morning. I don't think Blue knows this. So we believe engaging in two streams at once can lead to a suboptimal experience. For your community, let me zoom in actually. For your community, so simulcasting is prohibited in our terms of service. Simulcasting is defined as blah, blah, blah. Basically just streaming to two different services at once. Frequently asked questions. Do these guidelines apply to all streamers? Yes. If you do not adhere, you'll get a warning. Repeated, you're going to get a suspension. Am I able to broadcast on Twitch-like services when I'm not live? Yes, blah, blah. That means you cannot stream to Twitch and YouTube or Twitch and Kick at the same time. Any other live service.
Yeah.
There is an exception, I believe, to TikTok. Like if you're doing mobile TikTok. I think there's like a little exception in there. But the point is, like, this was in there. This was new. When you're an affiliate, initially it was affiliates and partners here. Because I remember that too.
Yeah.
Now it's everybody.
Yeah.
So that was a part of why people were upset, and specifically, Ninja can't stream on Twitch anymore.
Yeah,
he's gonna say he made some posts on Twitter because I was reading about this. He's like, I have to fulfill a contract for State Farm, and then I don't know. But I think he's gonna get off Twitch.
Yeah,
which is a big deal. So, okay. Then Twitch said, "Oh, you guys want the 70 and 30 back? We got you." Introducing the Partner Plus program. Today we're announcing the Partner Plus program, a new program for streamers to build toward as they continue to grow their business. This new program benefit will offer 70% on net subscription revenue to streamers who meet the qualification criteria.
Up to 100,000. Up to 100,000.
Up to 100,000. But great.
Per 12 months. Yeah.
That's great. Most people don't get to 100,000. So
no, they don't. For only the biggest streamers will that matter.
Yep.
Like
now it says here, partners must maintain a sub count of at least 350 recurring, huge note, paid subscriptions. Massive note there. For 3 consecutive months. Once that happens, partners will be automatically enrolled for the next 12 months, even if you dip under the threshold during the period. It's going to launch October 1st. Streamers that meet the qualification criteria in July, August, September will be enrolled and notified in October. Sounds great, Mike. Thanks for the update. Problems. Massive problems. 1, they have to be paid subscriptions. Massive issue.
Yep. Primes don't count.
Primes don't count. Gifteds don't count. None of those count.
Yep.
And I do have that here.
Gifteds do not count.
What types of subscriptions count towards the qualification? Applies towards the qualification. Recurring paid, yes. Gift, no. Prime, no. Items eligible for the 70/30. Gifted. Recurring paid, yes. Gifted, yes. Prime, no.
Basically, Prime does even less for you now.
What items apply to the 100,000 threshold? recurring gifted. Here's my question. How come gifted doesn't apply? Let's just start there. You have it eligible for the 70/30, and then it applies to the 100K threshold, but it doesn't count toward the criteria. Why doesn't gifted count? Let's ignore Prime subs for a second. Why doesn't gifted count?
I think I don't think they want viewers like gift bombing people to get to the threshold and then not like continuing those subs into the paid, you know, once you get the upgrade. I don't know.
That's true. That is a true point. Here's my counter, which apparently Twitch just doesn't seem to get. Why does it matter? Your subscriber revenue. It's so weird that Twitch cares so much about subscriber revenue. I don't even think that's how they make most of their money. No, I really don't. Not. Why do they care so much? It's really odd that they're like, we can't give streamers 70/30 because it doesn't work for our business.
I doubt that. I doubt that's the case.
I'm like, how though? This is not how you make money. You make money on ads. So like, well, it's just like, so here the only thing that I continue to think about this is they're just so freaking desperate. They're so desperate. They must just be bleeding money like crazy and can't make enough on ads. So they're like, well, we gotta push up the money somehow. We have to get money somehow. Where can we get it? We can't come up with new features because we're dog shit at it. We're terrible at monetization features.
And anytime we come up with a new feature, it's fucking horrible.
It's horrible because we're bad at this.
And then we roll it back in like 3 days.
Yes, they're bad at it. The bounty board, they're terrible. The freaking chat, elevated chat, horrible. They're bad at they're just so bad at everything. The only good monetization they have right now is ads, I guess subscriptions, and I guess Turbo. By the way, you know they're pushing Turbo hard now. They're pushing Turbo hard.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It says get ad free at the top now. You can click to.
They're pushing it hard now. That's why they bumped the prices. They're like, okay, well, we got to make more money. How? Well, Turbo seems really good because people don't like ads, which is true. People don't like ads. So, what's the worst thing about Twitch as a platform? The ads. There's just nothing else to say there.
Well, and just Twitch.
Yeah, just Twitch sucks. But
the management.
Right, but like the platform. Too, but... I just meant the platform. But yeah, the management of Twitch sucks. Like we know that. The CEO of Twitch had this comment. He had this quote, and I'll share it later. He's so but yeah, so let me go back to this tweet. So yeah, that's the eligibility. Again, I just wanted to I had to confirm it because I saw that. That is the exact table here. They talk about the benefit. There's only one benefit of this program, and that's you get your 70/30 back up to 100K. That is the only benefit of this program that they've even listed here. There are no other benefits to this program outside of 70/30, which it boggles my mind that is the only benefit.
Yeah, and I saw a stat on like Twitter or something where it said that this is gonna affect like 2% of partners or something like that. 2.5% of partners.
It affects 2.5% of partners. 1,000 number of streamers fitting Partner Plus requirements based on March to May stats. 1,066
out of 42,000.
Out of 42,000. So this is really what this is. This is here's what they're actually doing. They're saying
they're giving the top dogs more money.
They're like, hey, top dogs, don't leave. Please don't leave.
I mean, actually, I didn't think about that, but yeah, that is what they're doing. They're like, oh shit, we're losing top streamers. We need to give them an incentive to not.
We have to give it back. We have to give it back to them. Let me be clear. I think Twitch cares about their partners in general, but they care about this top 2.5% the most. This is the most care. So, okay. Did I have more on this? Oh, we'll get to that later. God.
They're like your low tier partners that have like, you know, maybe they get a couple hundred, maybe 500 concurrent viewers, and they have maybe like 50 to 100 subs. I think they don't care about those people. Like,
no, they don't. They care about the people they care about people who bring in concurrence of like 3,000 or more, something like that, that are bringing in sub counts, like ludicrous sub counts, and are still on the platform. That's what they care about. They really don't. They don't care about much of anything else. And I mean, like, the 50-50 split, like, proves that. It just proves that. The other thing that the Twitch CEO said, I want to circle on this, too. Somebody asked, like, can you justify, like, the 50-50? How come other platforms are doing 70-30 or better, and you guys are doing 50-50? Can you justify that? And the CEO of Twitch is like, well, see, we're different. We provide the stage, and that's all we do. And I'm like...
What?
He's like, we provide you a stage. That was me paraphrasing what he said. He said, quote for quote, we provide you like a stage for your content. That's what he said. And I'm like, okay, but here's my answer to that. You do provide a stage, but at some point, the band has to consider how much they make on your stage compared to how much benefit there is to being on your stage. If I'm a band and I'm like, well, I could make $5,000 on a smaller stage, or I could go to the big stage and make $2,000, and I can go to the other small stage, I'm probably going to go to the small stage, even if that other stage isn't just that stage. Like, YouTube does VOD content, they do video on demand content as their main focus. Live streaming is like kind of in the background. But like, that's a stage. Kick is a stage. TikTok has live. That's also a stage. Other platforms have a stage, dude. It's just, your argument is because you only focus on the stage, you should stay here. And that's why we take more money.
Look, and I'm not going to tell you how I don't know how the music industry works, but I'm pretty sure the stage doesn't take 50% of the fucking ticket sales.
No, I don't think so.
At a concert revenue. I would think more, well, maybe they take a cut, but like, I would think more that like the band just pays up front to use the stage and then they get whatever, but I don't know how the music industry works. So
if you're like invited to, let's say you're invited to the stage and you're free of cost to play on the stage, like you're invited, you're like a special guest, whatever.
Then they would take a cut probably.
And you're invited to two different stages. One stage has like a big audience that knows it and it's just for music. Another stage has a slightly smaller audience, maybe smaller, and it's not just like that. Maybe there's like a bowling alley next to it, but they're giving you more money. I just feel like if you can afford to go to both stages, why wouldn't you go to the one giving you more?
Yep.
I like Twitch. I don't understand your logic there. Like, yes, your value proposition is you only focus on live streaming, but that's not gonna work forever. You really think that's gonna work forever if that's your only value prop that you're willing to talk about? Like, and it's interesting that he said we give you a stage. Why didn't he say like, well, he really didn't answer that well. He did not answer it well for me.
To me, and I've said this before, I think this was a couple of times ago when we talked about Twitch, the most valuable part of Twitch to me is like the communities and the chat, like and the emotes. Like that's the most valuable part of Twitch, in my opinion. I think to a lot of people, because people love the emotes. People, you know, if they're sub to a big streamer or they're part of like a community or something, like they probably feel a sense of community with the chat and with the emotes and everything on Twitch. To me, that is the most valuable part of Twitch. That is what Twitch does better than any other platform, any other streaming platform that exists. That is what Twitch excels at, because literally everything else about Twitch right now is pretty much dog shit.
Yes.
So
the UI for Twitch is great. I'm not going to argue the overall like streaming experience UI.
Their interface is good.
Is great, and I think the fact that you are able to build your live streaming community on Twitch and like facilitate it with the UI, with the emotes, with the extensions and integrations is fantastic. I have no arguments against that. As somebody who's like trying to use YouTube right now. That being said, I still can't answer the question on Discovery. I really don't know how Discovery is on Twitch. I mean, that's a different conversation. I think Twitch's revenue split is obviously the worst. Twitch has very limited monetization options for your streamers. So you're streaming, if you're a streamer, what are your monetizations through Twitch itself? You have subscriptions and you have ads.
And you have bits.
And you have bits, which
but nobody uses bits anymore.
Bits, lol. Nobody uses bits except if you're on a big stream. Then a big streamer, people use bits on the big stream. Yeah, bits nobody really uses anymore because they couldn't farm bits anymore. Let's just look at you. Let's just take YouTube for example. YouTube, you can monetize through memberships. You have ads. You have super chats. You have like stickers that give you money. There's like multiple different avenues of monetization on YouTube that are very open.
Like VODs, your streams go
VODs.
straight to your streams go straight to VOD.
You can't monetize VODs on YouTube, on Twitch. Excuse me. Twitch VODs are a joke. It's comical how bad they are. But YouTube has like tons of options, and on top of that, you can immediately turn your live stream around and just make it a video on like your VOD, like on your platform. You can even like maybe do some light editing on it.
Yeah, cut it down a little bit.
Like there's quite a bit of monetization options on YouTube, and that's like a benefit for YouTube for monetization. Kick does the same things that Twitch does, so there's nothing to say there. I don't know about like, well, TikTok I think is just, you probably just make ad revenue or something. I don't know. So the other piece of this is like, Twitch just doesn't have a lot of ways that streamers can make money. And like the bounty board exists, but it sucks by all accounts. It's like terrible. Like I don't think anybody uses it anymore.
And every time they try to implement a new feature, it sucks.
And it's bad. Like they did the elevated chat. It's bad. Like it was a terrible feature because it just wasn't implemented well. I don't know. It's an interesting conversation, which we'll talk about even further too, with like what are like, at what point does Twitch actually start to lose a significant market share? And I think it's going to start to happen now, actually. I don't know what significant means to people too. Like, I don't know what the market share is for Twitch. I'm just going to guess Twitch probably owns 80% of the market for live streaming. And then it's probably now going to be Kick and then YouTube and then everybody else. So at what point is significant market share lost for Twitch? I think if Twitch starts to dip under 70% market share, they should start like hitting the alerts.
The panic.
I think they have to start hitting the panic button and figure something out. Because Twitch has previously had like, they were over like probably 90% at one point.
Yeah.
So let me just add a couple other things with Twitch that I came across this week. First off, there was this. This is a small bit that I put on here because I thought it was interesting. This is a big streamer. His name is Harris Heller, who, by the way, after this kind of like whole encounter with Twitch staff, was very good about it and was like, hey, like he didn't think it was as big of a deal after the fact, but I don't know. To me, it was. It says a lot about your staff. So a staff member went into his stream and just basically started with saying, hey, you know, love you, but I need to talk to you one-on-one. The streamer took it as a little bit combative. He was like, hey, that sounds great, but it seems like that doesn't sound as good as you're typing it out there. And the guy was like, I think he's like, I just think you're off base. I think you're wrong about a lot of assumptions. The streamer said, oh, I am. Well, okay, I'm okay being wrong, but you know, all we have right now is assumptions. And then the staff member was like, hey, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I think you're not wrong, but it was weird. It was a weird encounter where the staff member was just he was just gaslighting this guy. I mean, really, like you can see some of the messages in here. He says, not saying you're wrong about anything, but you have so many assumptions that are so way off. That doesn't make sense. If you're telling somebody they're way off on something, that means they're wrong. Like if you told me, like, for example, this is an example. Okay. If you told me you were like, you know, hey, Otto, I don't think the NBA 3-point shot is that valuable. And then I said, you're way off. What would you think I mean by that?
That I'm wrong.
Yes. So he's like, not saying you're wrong about anything, but you're way off.
But you're wrong.
But you're wrong. And then he's just like, lol, again, not saying you're wrong. And then he's like, seriously, again, no one said you were wrong about anything. You can have opinions, and those are fine. But he just keeps saying you're way off. So I'm like very confused.
But if you're gonna say I'm way off, what am I way off about, and why? Like, if you're saying that my assumptions are wrong, then you need to back up your claim that my assumptions are wrong with evidence that to the contrary. If you want me to change my opinion, and if I'm assuming things, yeah, maybe I'm assuming things, but I mean that's all we have. We can only go off of these PR methods. Like, I assume he's talking as respect to Twitch. So
yes, he is.
We can only go off of these PR messages and all this like bullshit that Twitch has done over the past year to year and a half, 2 years. I don't even remember. And so yeah, we're gonna make assumptions, and unless you provide evidence to the contrary and clear up our assumptions, and then it is what it is. Like, I'm sorry, you can't just say like you're making a lot of assumptions and you're wrong. It's like, well, okay, fine, that may be true, but you haven't said anything or provided any evidence for me to change my mind or to change my assumptions.
So the context behind this is he's making assumptions of like, oh, how could they make money, and oh, like what's going on behind the curtain. He's making assumptions. That's the context there.
Yeah, sure.
And which is what you had said. But he tried to ban the staff member because he was like, I'm really uncomfortable right now. I don't like this conversation. I'd like to move on. And then the guy's like, after you can't ban staff. And then he's like, oh, you tried to ban me? Wow. And it's just like, okay, here's my thing. This is the creative director of Twitch. Okay? So it's not like, I don't know if it would make too much of a difference, but it's not like it's a junior software engineer. You know, this is the creative director of Twitch going into people's Twitch chats, hijacking the chat and the stream, gaslighting the streamer, and then being like surprised that they're going to be banned.
Also, like, just in general, if you need to talk to somebody one-on-one and you are the creative director of Twitch, why the fuck would you go into their stream and post a message that you need to... No, you should send them an email to their Twitch email or their professional account and say, hey, we need to talk one-on-one.
Yes.
You don't say that in their Twitch chat and then proceed to have that supposed one-on-one conversation in the middle of fucking Twitch chat.
That's what I said. That's literally what I said. I was talking to Kate about this. I was trying to explain it to her because she didn't obviously fully understand. And I got to a point where I'm like, you know, why wouldn't this guy just email him or like go to Discord and talk to him? It's obvious that this guy, Harris Heller's a big streamer. He's probably got a partner manager with Twitch.
Yeah, partner manager. Send him a DM on Twitch. Like, if you want to have a one-on-one conversation through Twitch, send him a freaking DM on Twitch. Don't do it in Twitch chat.
So I'm like the whole time I'm like, this is how staff members are acting to people. Staff members are being incredibly combative to their content creators. I just feel like they're not appreciating them anymore. And like, I'll talk about this later, but this was the last straw for me, actually. I couldn't believe the level of unprofessionalism I just witnessed. And this is a creative director. For anybody that's like, oh, people who are in high positions of companies are smart, they're not. They're not very smart. And this is an example of that. A smart person would have known the audience, known their platform, and known the professionalism here. One, you're on Twitch. As a creator on Twitch, if you were part of the company, you would have known you do not hijack other people's streams. That is like an unwritten rule of streaming. You don't do that. Number two, you're a creative director. You're in a position where you could email somebody. Or like, you could send them a DM, like on Twitter. That's a very common thing to do in this space. You send Twitter DMs, you send Discord DMs. You can do that. Going into a stream and doing it's extremely just out of touch, is the way I would put it.
And this dude should also know the position that Twitch is in right now.
Right.
In that creator, anybody who's following the Twitch news recently does not see Twitch in a very good light right now. They've been taking a lot of L's, as we've been talking about.
Correct. That's the third thing. Is like, know your position right now. Your position as Twitch is you are on the defensive.
Yeah. You're on the back foot. You're on the back foot.
If you start attacking the people that are using your platform,
just making yourself look worse.
You're making yourself look worse. Correct. Which you should be just like, of all things, you should be supportive of creators and say like, he could have come in here and said, he could have said totally different. He could have taken a totally different approach, which is, hey Harris, you know, good to see ya. Wondering if you could do a one-on-one with me sometime. Message me after your stream. Would love to talk. He could have done that. And then Harris would have been like, sounds good. I'll message you after the stream. And then you leave it at that.
Or
That's
you
it.
can or you message me and I'll get to it after this. And
Exactly.
I'll get to it after the stream. Send me a DM on X platform, Twitter, Discord, Twitch, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll get to it after the stream.
Yep.
Thanks, buddy. See you later.
Exactly. And then the guy goes, thanks a lot. Appreciate you. Have a great stream. How easy was that?
How easy was that? Takes 3 seconds.
Amazing. A baby could have figured that out. But after the fact, Harris was like, hey, you know, don't send this guy hate or anything. Just might have just been a one-off bad interaction. Which is great. Obviously, that's the professional approach. Obviously. I did notice, by the way, this creative director, I looked them up on Twitter. They like locked down their Twitter. They must have gotten tons of hate for this. And I'm just like, great.
Yeah.
But just like, this was the last straw for me, by the way. And I'll talk about that later. I don't want to talk about it now. But like, this was the last straw, actually. Of all the things that happened, it was this. I couldn't believe it. Like, you as a company need to be supporting the people that actually bring up your platform. Why are you being combative?
Yeah, it's like you have a stage, but if you don't have any bands to play on that stage, you don't make any money.
Like, and why would I play on your stage if your like staff are just yelling at me?
Yeah.
Like, why are you yelling at me? You asked me to be here. Like, I thought I could be here.
Yeah.
It's just... Okay. There's more to this. YouTube changed their partner program requirements, and they changed it on the 13th, which interestingly enough was like a day after this. I don't know if somebody like, they must have had this in the works for a while, but it feels like the timing is perfect.
Yeah, the timing is like, well, Twitch is fucking up. We better.
we have a chance. We can pull some people. So they changed the requirements to, I think before it was about 4,000 or 3,000 subscribers. Now there is a 500 subscriber requirement. You can do 3 public uploads in the last 90 days and either 3,000 watch hours or 3 million shorts views in 90 days, which I think 3,000 watch hours is still a lot, but 500 subscribers, it's doable. 3 public uploads is doable, super doable. 3,000 watch hours, I'm guessing that's very doable. I don't know because
it's
I'd have
doable.
to take a look.
You know, it depends, but yeah, it doesn't sound that unreasonable. I mean, it's a lot, but I mean, yeah, I don't know.
So this unlocks fan funding, channel memberships, super chats, super stickers, super thanks. By the way, I forgot, super thanks is another monetization engine. Like, YouTube has tons of monetization engines. It's crazy. Huge for small streamers, blah, blah, blah. So after this, the conversation of YouTube obviously got brought up. It's like, oh, like, this is great. Sounds amazing. Like, where, you know, maybe I can give it a try. That seems really reasonable. Which it does to me. 500 is very much within striking distance for a lot of people, I think. I think 500 is super doable. So, you know, YouTube kind of jumped in on this and was like, hey, like, let's build up some small creators. Great. I think this is a great move. It makes sense. It's smart. Like, get people more interested in the platform. So YouTube obviously jumped into the fray and like gave some positivity in this whole discussion. And then yesterday, to top it all off, we got Kick signing XQC to a non-exclusive deal for $100 million over 2 years, which is NBA basketball money. That is NBA basketball money.
Yeah.
Whatever, regardless of if you think the money amount is bad, let's just focus on the fact that Kick signed, I don't know if it is, I think Kick is, this is Twitch's biggest streamer, I think. Somebody had like a chart, I wish I still had it. It might be in Discord or something. I don't remember if I had it.
It's in Discord. Yeah,
it's in Discord.
You posted it in Discord.
There's a chart, and
or yesterday.
Yeah, and let me try and grab it. We're gonna mess up the stream really fast. But yeah, here's the chart. Let me just copy and paste it in here. Overlay probably looked funny for a second there. There's a chart here. XQC is Twitch's top streamer. Top streamer in regard to most watched Twitch channel. And it's not close. It's really not close. So XQC will likely still stream on Twitch. Not as much. I think the predominant streaming platform is going to be Kick. The deal probably is like, you need to do, 70% of your streaming on Kick, something like that, maybe even higher. And he is now going to be focused on Kick. And this is a really big deal. You have Kick. I don't know who this is, actually. Gulls, I don't know. You have a couple other streamers, Hassan, Asmongold, Summit, all these other streamers. And XQC is massive compared to them. So I think we're, just to cycle back to what I said before, I think we're going to start seeing Twitch see more market share go away. And it probably won't happen in a year, but I think in a few years, there's a couple question marks I have. Number one, the biggest thing that people also said from this was, well, Kick just uses Amazon's infrastructure, so Amazon wins anyway. Okay, Kick is supported by a gambling platform. That gambling platform makes a ton of money. What stops said gambling platform from creating their own infrastructure? You're signing people to $100 million deals. Like, what stops you from just creating your own infrastructure at this point? So that's a huge question mark. Like, that, don't think that this is a W for Twitch also. Losing XQC this many Twitch watch hours, you lose ad value. You cannot advertise on Twitch's biggest stream. That is a ton of advertising value you just lost. So your ad value just went down. I don't know by how much. Who knows what the numbers are for that, to be honest. So you lost that. It's just like, Kick got they're the biggest streamer around. And who knows if it's going to work for Kick. Like, I don't know if it's going to work for Kick for the numbers. I assume they'll have also a deal where, like, XQC has to do gambling streams. But this also has continued to trigger. Kick servers went down after XQC signed here. So Kick servers went down. They actually had to go down for maintenance for a while. But, like, Spoon, I understand Kick is supported by a gambling platform, and we have our feelings on gambling. Gambling is not good, for at least from us, and that's a light way of putting it, I think, for this. But said gambling platform's live streaming platform. Let me just separate my opinions on gambling from the platform itself. It looks pretty appealing right now, because you're just like, you're getting a massive revenue share as a streamer. It's a hot platform right now, meaning more eyeballs are going to jump on it. The platform itself is positioning itself where it's like all creator focused, and you can see that from their freaking social medias and stuff.
I would say that if, from a monetary standpoint, if you're a big streamer, yes, it probably looks pretty appealing.
It does
right now.
From the money. We're not talking about everything else.
From a monetary standpoint, personally, I would like to think that I have enough moral high ground that I wouldn't want to stream on that platform if I was a big streamer. But
right.
I don't know.
Some streamers, this is their job. They got to make their money at the job while they can. Maybe that's the argument. And they're like, you bite the bullet on your.
Yeah, fine.
You bite the bullet. I don't know.
Fine.
For me personally, I don't know if there's ever going to be a universe where I stream on Kick. I'd have to be desperate. I'd really have to be desperate, and I'm not desperate. So, I personally, I know other people are like, hey, check out Kick. Looks like an option. And you know what? To anybody that does want to stream on Kick, fine, go for it. All the power to you. Do what you gotta do. Have fun. But this is obviously like a really big deal. It just like 100 million. I mean, it's a lot of money for a streamer. I think the money seems really high, but at the same time, when you look at the watch hours and the numbers, somebody at Kick was like, look, he's gonna bring twice that value to the platform. Somebody at Kick ran the numbers on that. Somebody did. And I think it's all gonna have to do with, if they're in the contract, XQC has to do gambling on the platform.
Probably.
How much advertising goes through Kick? I'm assuming Kick does, runs ads like Twitch. How much advertising can they run through the platform? somebody figured out that they're going to get double their money back or something on this. I don't know.
I'm sure they did.
So, Spoon, that was a lot on Twitch, on Kick, and like a very small nugget of YouTube. What are your whole thoughts on all this? Like, Twitch just took more L's this week. I feel like this is 2 weeks of L's for Twitch.
Yeah, they tried to get a dub with the partner plus, and then they ended up taking more L's because, you know, people read the fine print, and then YouTube was like, "Hey, Twitch sucks. Come over here." And then Kick was like, "Yeah, we'll just go ahead and buy your biggest streamer. Have fun.
We'll just buy your big streamer. Like, who cares?"
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I think we've talked about this multiple times with Twitch, and not necessarily even just Kick. It's like, when does Twitch start to like sound the alarm?
Yep.
I think maybe
they
soon.
might be sounding it a little bit.
I think maybe soon. I think somebody at Twitch is like, "Oh God,
this is not going well.
We got to figure out how to lock in our big streamers. We got to figure this out. This is bad."
I mean, yeah, I think the partner plus is part of that. They're like, all right, we need to give our big streamers a little bit more share.
Yep. Because it's not working. It's honestly just not working. If I'm XQC and somebody walks to me and gives me $100 million, moral high ground is tough, but I think it's 2 years. You take it, you bite the bullet. I mean, and you say like, look, it's $100 million. I bite the bullet, spend the streaming, 2 years streaming, and then retire. That's my mentality. It's like, okay, that's it. I'm done. Now I'm done. I did my work.
Yeah.
I can go retire and be done with everything. That would be my thought process. Because it's like, at some point, it's like, man, like, us personally, we're like, we don't want to be involved with the gambling stream or the gambling streaming service. Like, we've said that. But like other people, you know, obviously other people, they're like, hey, look, like if somebody walks you and gives you $100 million and said, just stream on my platform for 2 years and do this, this, and this, it's hard to turn down that money. Considering like, it's very hard to turn down that much. So, understandable.
I mean, yeah, you're right. Yeah, if Kick, you know, emailed me today or tomorrow and was like, hey, we'll give you $100 million to stream on our platform, with me in the position that I am right now, I think I agree with you. It'd be hard for me to turn down.
Yeah, of course it is. Because it's $100 million.
Because it's $100 million. But if I'm in XQC's position, and obviously I'm not XQC and I'm not in his position, I have no idea how much he makes on Twitch. I'm sure it's not that much, but he probably rakes in.
He probably makes a shit ton.
At least a couple million a year, right?
Oh, at least. It's at least a couple million. It's probably more than that, but it's at least that much.
So that is not as stark a contrast as like between me, who is nobody in terms of streaming, and I don't make any money right now because I'm still in medical school, and XQC, who already makes a lot of money, plenty of money to be comfortable on, surely. That like, do you really need $100 million? No, like, what are you gonna do with $100 million? I don't know. Like,
who knows? But it's a lot. It's still a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Anyway, short version of this is Twitch took a bunch of L's, tried to get a W with the Partner Plus. Everybody's like, wait, this is still kind of like an L for everybody else. It's kind of an L except for the big 1,000 on the platform.
I mean, it's hard to say that it's an L because it is like, it's good for streamers. There's obviously some caveats, but it doesn't hurt anyone. It doesn't hurt any. It only helps a few people, or about 1,000 people, as it said, about 1,000 partners.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hurt anyone below that, I don't think.
It doesn't, but it's the perception of like, particularly when you remove Prime subs and gifted, it's the idea of like,
I get it with Prime. I get it for sure with Primes. gifted, I agree with you, should probably count. But you know, whatever. It is what it is.
It's just the perception of a streamer being like how wow. So the people that gift to me and Prime sub to me just don't count.
Yep.
Which is weird. But anyway, I don't know. Also Prime subs not counting for the 70/30 is also weird. It's so weird. It's all so weird. But anyway. Oh my god. All right. Let me that was all I had for from the doc. That was all we had from the